Hello, so we're going to talk about uh, this workbook, Sexual Awakening for Women, Tantric Workbook. An important thing is Tantric Workbook. It was recommended by a good friend and colleague, so I thought I would try some of the exercises in this book to see what new things could be experienced, because Tantra is an experiential, not a mental type of yoga. Okay, so I don't have the images from the book, so I'll just try to recap what I remember. So these are the seven chakras: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and the first chakra here is called the. And then here we have our our second chakra, which is called the sacral chakra. And here is our third chakra called the solar plexus. And here is our fourth chakra called the heart chakra. Okay, they really don't talk too much about the fifth, sixth, seventh. It really talks about these first four in this book. And what's interesting is that they have a different, they share a different perspective, different lenses, different way of looking at what these chakras mean in the form of tantra and sexuality. Chakra. Uh, what the book presents is it's more about a survival lens, like a survival perspective on sexuality. And then the second one, the sacral, is more tribal, which is organizations, institutions, and their perspectives on what that means and how it's reflected into your life. And then the solar plexus, about personal power. So it's a personal power aspect on your views and conditioning on sexuality. And then the heart one, which I really don't have a good word for, but you know, they use the word unconditional love, but you know, what does that mean really? I sense it's more of a balance. Here we go. More of a balance, a yin yang type of sensation emerging, a union, as opposed to masculine, feminine type of energies. It's more of a unified, merged type of energy. Good. Okay, so what this exercise was looking at, from this perspective here, survival, tribal, personal power, balance, and you're supposed to make a list of how things in your life that had this lens of your sexuality, which I don't have a copy of. I did it, but I think I threw it out or whatever. But in the end, the goal was to use that list to make a map of the territory, which was I thought I was going to skip this step because nothing was coming to mind. So I sat with it for a while. And then what I came up for my map was something like this. I wound up had like no idea where to start, so I screwed myself there. I just put myself in the middle, and then I sat and thought, and then these things came up. These are some of the survival, tribal type of things in my life, and then the things that seem to be more expansive, energy related, spiritual, emotional, sexual things seem to put themselves at the top, not intentionally, and these kind of more static, I guess, would be more at the bottom. So that's where I wound up with my map of the territory. Okay, so this is like um, partner ice dancing, which can get into some pretty ecstatic states, which is pretty awesome. Partner yoga work, similar type of energy type of work, you know, connecting energetically, spiritually guided type of things. Some tantra yoga, love and ecstasy training, uh, more of the expansive type of things that I identified. And this in itself was pretty interesting how it was kind of guided. Start with this, and then these things showed up in different places. I didn't intentionally put anything anywhere specific. But then the next step was to rearrange the map of the territory. And so I started with myself in the middle, like I did initially, but sitting there and just meditating and praying to see what wanted to be said. A whole different picture started. And, and this was an image that I've had a couple times that comes in, kind of like a boat with a sail, person standing there with a paddle or an oar. And there's just like open water, open horizon, some clouds, some birds. It's just like unexplored territory type of thing. I go, that's kind of interesting that came in. And I said, well, what about all those other items? Where they go? And then they didn't go in the boat with me. Like I was in my own boat, but they were all in their own boats. And they were all like heading in the same direction, but not all in the same boat. They're all kind of doing their own thing, going in the same direction. So this is like everyone kind of has the same perspective, outlook, view, goals. And I said, well, where does everyone else fit that's on that diagram? When it came out, it drew like this small island down here with a tree and a box and a bunch of water around it. Comfortable place. You can stay there and live a happy life, right? It's just on an island up here, sailing around, and I could stop and visit the island if I wanted to, but I can explore as my heart needed. Yeah, so that was a very interesting uh, insight as to how my map of the territory changed with some uh, meditation and prayer. Okay, so that was one of the exercises in the workbook uh, by Dr. Shakti Malan, who I think is passed now. But anyways, the map of the territory exercise I found very insightful. So if you're feeling so inclined to try something to give you a different perspective on your situation, I'd encourage you to do that.